I teach meditation, Buddhism. I also act as a cognitive therapist. I deal with people's cognitive processes, how to help them be happier, have more effective lives. Meditation is important because it relaxes the mind. The mind is very stressed out most of the time, but it shows up in the body as a point of tension. And when we're in meditation, we can actually scan the body and find these places of stress. I was born and raised Catholic, so I wound up going to parochial school until I was 17. Next thing I knew, I got drafted. I had been in Vietnam for about 3 years with the Navy as a medic. And when I got out, I did not want to return to the United States. So I went to Bangkok. I wanted to go to some place that was exotic. I wanted to party, just drink till I was in a stupor. I was sitting at this bar after a couple of weeks, and I saw these Theravada monks. And because of the color of the robe, all I could think about was carrots. There was this one very tall carrot, and I must have said something aloud because he walked over to me, and I thought he was going to get all Bruce Lee on me. And I was in no shape to defend myself, so I was preparing myself for my comeuppance. And instead, he was very kind. He was an English gentleman who had come over to study Buddhism and became a monk, and he invited me over to the monastery. And within a month, I had ordained, and I stayed for 3 years. Morality in Buddhism is the concept of compassion. Compassion starts with oneself, and that means being patient with whatever arises in the mind. If we can be patient with that, then we can be patient with anybody else. We react more calmly, with more understanding, and that means that we can really offer assistance to others. And this is the whole practice of Buddhism, is not to harm oneself and not to harm others. That's it. The Bodhisattva is a highly realized being, not a god. These Bodhisattvas and Buddhas represent a quality of reality that we would like to have. This particular one represents compassion. And so we pray, hoping to find more compassion in our lives. So we're essentially trying to change our karma. One doesn't pray to a Buddha saying, you know, I need my car fixed. They put the goal itself directly on the path in front of them by emulating that Buddha. It can be quite humbling, realizing that we're not as compassionate as we should be. We're not as wise as we think we are. And so we have to admit this. Confession is good for the soul, they say. Well, confession is also good for the mind. It's admitting our limitations and what we need. And this is why we pray. This is why we do these things.